thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I know summertime gets a little harried with you all trying to take a little bit of time for yourselves, but this education is so timely for all of us, and bringing us back to the principles that we know intrinsically, but John's way of expressing them and bringing them home, I think is very, very on point for our industry. So wanted to thank you all for being here. Look to hear from me on how to get credits and finish just a little bit of work that we have to do after this session to make sure that you get your CMI credits. So look to hear from me next week on that. But I did want to thank John and also Lindsay, who have been so helpful in putting the sessions together, and so glad that this worked out for this year. But I also wanted to let everybody know that we're working with bringing John to Florida next year for each of the regions, and doing some longer education and half-day session or something maybe in each of the regions, because I believe that your staff's hearing this information and everybody being on the same page and making this part of your culture is something that's very very exciting. So we're working with John and his group right now on getting that taken care of. So thank you again for everybody for being here. If you will, put your phones on mute so we can hear John well, and good luck, and we look forward to seeing you in September. So thank you, John, again, and the stage is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Beth, and great to see everyone again. I'm really excited about today's content. This is really rolling up our sleeves, and you're going to love what you can bring back to your team. Real quick, I know it's been probably a crazy couple of weeks with the holiday and weather and everything else going on. Was anyone able to share with us any victories, anything they went back, maybe shared with their team or implemented? Open up your mic and just let us know. I'd love to hear if it was possible in the 2 weeks we've been since we met.
Jason here. I'll tell you, one of the first things that I went back is we are redoing our website right now. So we were able to look through a lot of the content, wanted to make sure that our wording was kind of how we wanted it to be, and definitely look at the signs in the bathrooms and even our seating signs of telling people, how that we would love to seat them instead of please wait and things like that. So definitely took that back. That just the overall wording, we wanted to make sure that, especially with the new website being launched last week, that we were presenting the right feel to the membership. So, yep, thank you for that.
Good stuff, Jason. Thank you. Anyone else before we get started? Okay. Well, you'll have more time. So if you go to page 7 of the workbook, that's where pick it up. And this is where we talk about really the first commandment, which in the workbook, it might be referred to as customer service vision statement. We've changed it, the terminology, to customer experience action statement. In your world, it might be a member.
We can have, so I guess that would actually be 3 Masons. It'd be Mason on.
Can you please put your phones on mute? Thank you.
So, member experience action statement. This is.
I heard you had trouble at the gate. You've been on that gate list forever.
He knows us. That guy knows us.
He knows us.
Who is that?
Chris, turn off your phone. Chris, put your phone on mute.
Put you on.
Thank you. Okay, so let me show you the difference, because a lot of times we will think, who needs another statement? We have missions and core values and purpose statements. And listen, they're all important. I love each of mine. But let me just share what the difference is. A mission statement is who we want to be, right? Who we want to grow up in the next 5, 10, 20 years and achieve. A purpose statement is why. And then a customer experience to action statement is what we want to do every time. So while I love all of them, The mission and purpose usually are not actionable, okay, to be the #1 financial service company in the world. Well, that doesn't really tell your bankers, your tellers what they have to do right now. The purpose is why, and again, love them, but the one that's really actionable is the customer experience action statement. And when you do that consistently every day by everyone, you then achieve those. So this is what the customer experience action statement is. It is a clear call to action of what each and every employee should be intentionally trying to achieve every time they interact with a member. Okay. And we don't want it to be like, too pie in the sky, changing their lives, that could only happen, very infrequently. We want it to be something that we can actually watch each other, our employees, and say yes or no. So a couple of ways we come up with that is during the workshop is we'll say, after coming in contact with you, how do you want your customers to feel emotionally every time? No excuses. And how do you want your members to describe their interaction with you? So these are some of the things you're going to want to do with your employees to start getting their minds around this. So here's one of the biggest myths. Companies, leaders, employees think that the results drive customer loyalty. And it's scientific proof that results have least to do with customer loyalty. If I go to a Morton Steakhouse and all I get is my filet cooked medium rare, I don't know if that's enough for me to take a picture, send it to Beth, say, you wouldn't believe they cooked my steak medium rare, right? If I go to my dentist and he or she gets my tooth to stop hurting, but that's all they do, I'm pretty confident any dentist I'd go to would probably solve that. So it's not about the end results. It's not about the wedding, the fundraiser, whatever you're hosting, the dinner. That's important, but excuse me, it's about the micro experiences, the expertise your employees deliver, the consistency, recognition, empathy. How long did they wait? How did they manage the wait? Sometimes I'm fine with waiting as long as I know I'm going to wait. Were they knowledgeable, personalized, love their job, rapport, genuine hospitality, ease of doing business? Those are the loyalty drivers, not just outcomes. So we got to make sure, our employees don't think it's just about the outcome, that the meal was warm and it's what they ordered, or, whatever it is that they're doing business with us. I love this phrase, carpe momento, seize the moment. And that's what a customer experience action statement does. It makes us focus on providing a positive experience on every interaction, face-to-face, click-to-click, or ear-to-ear. So Disney's customer guest experience statement is, to me, one of the most special memories in a person's life. Now, they can be a little higher level than us, and because what they do. And I'm sure for all of you that have been there, for me, for almost anyone I've contacted, have talked about, they do a pretty good job at achieving this. So in 1998, I studied at the Disney University, and I got to go underground and behind the scenes. And I don't know if you've ever been there, but Magic Kingdom is a whole underground. The cast members punch in, punch out, take breaks. So back in 1998, I was there and I see Snow White on break, smoking a cigarette, complaining about her boyfriend. I'm like, oh my God, right? And she's like, that idiot called me last night. A few moments later, she walks inside, she freshens herself up, and she punches back in. Then she goes up these stairs, through the bushes, and she reappears on Magic Kingdom ground, and 15 little 5, 6, and 7-year-olds come charging at her. And she turns back to this beautiful angelic princess, posing for pictures, signing their pads. Downstairs in the parking lot, she was a Susie Smith that was about 22, that had jerked for a boyfriend or a dwarf or whatever he was. But she knew what she had to give, right? When she was on stage. Why? Because Disney does such an incredible job of teaching their cast members the part that they play in their guest experience action statement. They do such an incredible job of teaching their shuttle bus drivers and housekeeping the part that they play in it. And so that's what a strong customer experience action statement is. It helps you remember that your customer experience is always on stage.
No company is immune from the impact of the recession, not even the one-time darling of Wall Street, Starbucks.
After 37 years of growth, Starbucks is struggling to put the mo back in its Joe.
In a memo to his top executives, Howard Schultz admitted changes have led to a dilution of the experience and a loss of the romance and theater of Starbucks, opening the door to competitors. This must be eradicated.
So around this time, they call the DiJulius group. And the first thing we do with them, and you should remember, is we help them create a day in the life of their customer, right? What we talked about 2 weeks ago. And a day in the life of a Starbucks customer is us, everyone on this webinar. Whether you go to Starbucks or not, right? It's the craziness of our life. It's getting up at 8 a.m., or 6 a.m., and our day is coming at us at a blur. So doing that exercise and create a day in the life of Starbucks made them realize they can't change what's going to happen to you today, but hopefully they can give you that 5-minute or hour and 5-minute escape to rejuvenate yourself, to collect yourself, then to go back on and be Superman or Superwoman, which we're all trying to be. Now, at the time, their customer experience action statement was to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, one neighborhood at a time. Pretty good, but they didn't like it. It wasn't actionable. Okay, if Beth is my barista and I come in and order a venti soy latte and she gives it to me, in 90 seconds exactly, I ordered it with a smile. Does that mean she inspired and nurtured my human spirit? Tough to say, but probably not. It's not measurable. So, and now this is very important. This is Howard Schultz's words. So you don't want to monkey with Howard Schultz's words, but they move that up to their purpose, which is great because a purpose is something that you can do over the course of 200 experiences, a couple of years. But a customer experience action statement is what you have to do every time. It has to be small, but impactful. So on page 7 at the top, you'll see, ATOM. That's what you want it to be. You want it to be actionable, trainable, observable, and measurable. That you can literally watch someone interact on the phone, read an email sent, observe them coming in contact, and be able to say yes or no. And as I said, you can't say yes or no. So Starbucks, the other thing about the customer experience action statement, it is not like a mission or purpose, core values. You don't put it on your website. You do not advertise your guest member experience action statement to anyone but your employees. So that's why on every Starbucks green apron in the world, Malaysia, Florida, Ohio, it was on the inside of their green apron, right? It wasn't for us to see the public. It was for them to see 10, 15 times a day. And they talked about it in every pre-shift huddle.
We want to go back to what we really stand for, and we want to provide our customers and our people a sense of pride and confidence in the authenticity of the Starbucks experience.
We have a lot of work to do, but our research tells us we're making real progress on every measure of customer satisfaction.
We're not in the transaction speed business. We're in the business, literally, of enhancing people's day.
Starbucks' best days, I truly believe, are in front of us.
We've never been in the coffee business serving people. We've always been in the people business serving coffee.
What did he say? I love this. We're not in the coffee business serving people. We are in the people business serving coffee. So how can you say that? How can you get the mind shift of your team members, right? That they're not, that they're doing something more impactful. Because I love this quote. I might have said it last time. The currency for millennials is purpose. I actually think the currency for anyone is purpose, but people complain about millennials. They complain about Zoomers. I have close to 150 of Zoomers and millennials working for me, and they are the best workforce generation I've ever had. But they are willing to trade hours for dollars. But if you tie a purpose to their job, they will make bigger sacrifices, give up better deals elsewhere on paper, and they will be amazing employees. So that's what that does. Another great guest experience action statement is ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen. That is measurable. If you're working at the Ritz, I can tell if you're acting like a gentleman, and I can tell if you're treating the guest like a lady or whatever that may be. So let me show you a mission, a purpose, and a customer experience action statement, the difference. So the DiJulius Group, our mission is to be the world's leading authority on world-class customer experience. It's great. I love it. I helped create it, but it's not actionable. Lindsay dealing with Beth, a consultant dealing with a client, giving a presentation. That's not something that is achieved in the moment. Our purpose, okay, is changing the world by creating a customer service revolution. I mean, I believe that, but that is not actionable. And they're not supposed to be. Now, our customer experience action statement is create moments that matter by know more, care more, give more. Okay. And so the service vision, the service action statement is what you do. And the pillars, equally important, is how you do it. Okay, so know more, care more, give more, and that you'll see on the bottom of page 7 and the top of the entire page 8. Your pillars have to support the 3 things: your employees' expertise. So know more. In our world, no one better know more about the customer employee experience than my team. Okay. And we better show that. We better be studying, eat, sleeping, consuming. And then we communicate with our client, be demonstrating that. Care more, that you're just not next. You're not just a 1030, a keynote, webinar, workshop, whatever that may be, that we care about our clients and their success and how to help them, get promoted, whatever that may look like. All right. And then they give more. They give more is the above and beyond opportunity. If we find out that someone's, celebrating something huge, or, something bad has happened in their life, or they need us to move mountains, get them 100 books by this afternoon, whatever that may mean. So think about this. I don't want to go to Starbucks. So when you think about no more, that's the expertise. I don't want to go to Starbucks, order my venti soy latte, get it exactly how I ordered it in 90 seconds by someone with an attitude, right? That would just be the first pillar. Now you go to the second pillar. I also don't want to walk in and the barista say, "Hey, John, how's your 3 boys? How, you've been traveling?" But every time I take a sip, it's like Russian roulette. That would be just the second pillar. I want both, right? I want the first pillar, that they're great at their job, their quality, all those. And the second pillar is that they know me and they don't treat me like next. Now, the third pillar is the above and beyond. And that's when opportunity presents itself, right? It's low-hanging fruit. So back to page 7, the customer experience action statement is the what you do, and the pillars are how you do it. So if you go to page 8, this kind of breaks it down for you, just the pillars. So in our case, it's the DiJulius Group, it's know more, care more, give more. I'm sure you saw them in the book. There's dozens and dozens of examples of companies where I show both. So I don't want to. Well, I am. Lindsay, let's give the groups 5 minutes. And now you can't create a customer member experience action statement in 5 minutes. It's hard to do it in one full day. But I just want you to start thinking about what this looks like. Sometimes we don't want marketing in it, because we don't want it to be just a catchy phrase. We want it to be something that really can make a difference, right? Leave a positive impression. I'm working with Charlotte police department of all groups, and their service vision or their service action statement is earn a genuine thank you. Now, at first, that kind of sounds like, really easy, but if I'm pulling you over and writing you a ticket, or worse, putting handcuffs on you, or whatever it is, that's hard to do. But you do it in a way, and then their three pillars are empathize, educate, and exceed. Okay, so it's all about what they have to do is still do their job, but they educate and empathize with you, and hopefully you're more mad at yourself than the officer, because you were going 55 and a 25, and you're mad at yourself for doing that than the officer. So those are just different examples. So you want to make it really achievable. I just want you guys to spend 5 minutes. Lindsay will send you into breakout groups and just talk about some of the thoughts of what you think yours could be. You might already have one, but remember, use ADAM: actionable, trainable, observable, measurable. Can you watch someone and achieve that? Say yes or no to it. All right, go ahead, Linz. Linz, you want to give them a 1 minute warning?
I already did, and I hit the return, so they have 60 seconds to come back. So they'll start.
Okay.
Yep.
The moment.
Okay. Anyone want to share with any ahas or any good conversations, discussion, collaborations, confessions? Yes, Nancy.
Thanks for popping in our session.
Yeah.
As you know, we talked about the difference of socioeconomic class of our admin staff and our members, and as we talked further in our breakout session, we just concluded, you know what, we're all family. Yeah. You know, we have people who are going through
12 years,
a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
One of our board members, his wife died this week, but
Chris, mute. Sorry.
You know what, Nancy, they might have muted everyone. Nancy, you're muted now. Sorry. Can you unmute, Nance?
Sorry about that.
That's okay, our fault.
Okay, so basically, you know, we conclude that we're a family at Bonita National, and we're gonna try to understand, you know, our personal thing. We can share a little bit about our personal situations, because that way that member is going to share about theirs. You know, our golf pro dad died on Sunday. That guy was in at that management meeting the next day. I mean, so he needs us to support him through this very difficult time.
Yeah. So as you're doing this journey with your team, remember that, you know, the beginning, what we did last time, the day in the life of a customer and all that, is really tackling the compassion and empathy and trying to make the connection between, you know, the differences between our employees and our members. Now, assume that we have them understanding that, you know, everyone has a day and how important it is. So now we want to create a member experience action statement that I want it to be a burden. Before I pick up this call, before I greet the next table, whatever that may be, I have to collect my breath, because I have to deliver. I have to, you know, create memorable moments or whatever it is, and we got to define it. Anyone else want to share what they discussed on their in their breakouts?
Yeah, I have one at Boca Real I'd like to share. We basically say every must end with a smile on their face.
I love that. One of the best customer experience action statements I've ever heard. And it'll at first probably sound too simple, right? Happy people making people happy. Like, I can measure that, right? You know, is Amy happy? And is Bill walking away happy after he interacts with her? That is like, it's simple, but it's measurable. Love that. Any others?
I'll chime in. The group that I was with, the group that I was in was talking about being genuine, anticipating, and being connected and present.
I love that. And those sound like good pillars, right? You know, all three of those. Anticipating is, it means you know your job, right? You know what I need before I know what I need. Genuine and connecting is that middle pillar, right? That's just not rushing me and you know, processing me or whatever we could be guilty of. It's John, you know, John who has 3 boys, whatever it is. And that, yeah, I love that. Those are very good. So this is creating a customer member experience action statement is something that certainly takes a lot more time than with your team than, you know, what we're able to give it today. But I would have them read that chapter. And then I would, you know, have you conduct that workshop with a steering committee of a representation of leaders, aspiring leaders, but you got to have representation of the front line. I mean, everyone, not everyone, but someone from each department, because as soon as it's just the top who don't deal with members like we do, it loses its credibility. But if you have someone from my team that worked on it and argued for it and said, this is what it needs to be. And what I always say is when we have a group of 12 or 18 in a workshop from one company, I will tell the CEO, the C-suite, your vote, let's say we come down to 2 final drafts of a member experience action statement. And when we vote, you will have the least amount of, you know, voting power. It should be more of the front line, right? The servers, you know, anyone touching, because this is for them. And words that resonate to us may not resonate to them, and vice versa. And so we have to make this like, you know, we got to get them to think they created it and they have to love it. It really doesn't matter what resonates for us as much as them, because it's for them. Okay, this next part will definitely be your favorite, something you can go back and do immediately. Customer Bill of Rights. On page 9 at the top, you will see URX. Does anyone want to take a guess at what URX stands for? Anyone? I'm trying to get my Zoom back. There we go. Anyone want to take a guess? Okay, it stands for you are the experience. And we have to start reminding our employees about that, because, you know, there's so much technology and AI and, you know, beautiful clubs and golf courses and equipment and dining rooms. But listen, technology and facilities can never make a brilliant comeback, show compassion and empathy. You are the experience. And we got to tell each and every employee, because they start defaulting to not thinking it's about them. So URX is a great theme, whether you do it for a quarter or a year. A lot of clients we work with, you know, to put the burden back on the employees, it's about the experience they deliver. Make them feel important and pressured about that they're the experience, not, you know, they're 90% the experience, and the property and the AI or whatever else is 10%. Okay, So this is going to be most people's favorite part on page 9. We're going to go over nevers and always. So there's 3 rules that's listed down. We want them, very short sentences, not stage specific. And what that means is, if we answer the phone on 2 rings or less, I don't think we'd have this in the nevers and always. That's a stage, right? When a member calls. So that's a good stage. Or, excuse me, I'm so sorry. When someone calls, we say, thank you for calling the DiJulius Group. This is John. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? Great, but that's specific to a stage. These you'll see may or may not happen, okay? But if they do, we will never do this. We'll always do this. So you have the ones that I'm saying that aren't stage specific. The other ones, you have them outlined in your member experience journey. At this stage, we always do this. And the last rule is no personal interpretation allowed. So what I mean by that is you don't want to say always be professional or never be unprofessional. You tell that to 100 people, that's 100 personal interpretations. You don't want to say something like, we always return member, guests, calls, emails promptly. Again, promptly is vague. That's left for personal interpretation. Beth's promptly could be within 2 hours. My promptly could be within 2 weeks. Okay, so you remove personal interpretation. So instead, you'd say we always return guests, members, emails, voicemails within 24 business hours or same day or whatever it is. But there's no wiggle room. No one can take it wrong. So I'm going to write them down if you like them. I'm going to give you more than you should have, but then you're going to pick, and you might think of other ones. And when you're picking, yes, use the ones I give you. If you take one thing from someone, it's plagiarism. If you take 12, it's research. Be great researchers. Okay, so here's some nevers and always. Never point. You know this. Show them. Now, there's, even in a B2B world, which you kind of are, you could point over the phone. You could point via email, right? Beth may call and say, hey, I want to, look at booking a reunion, a party at her club. And, the person answers the phone and says, oh, that's Elise. And she's not here. You could try her tomorrow. Why are we making Beth work so hard? Or we could say, oh, what you have to do, go to our website and there's an application and a form and fill that out. That's pointing, right? Versus saying, Beth, Elise is off until tomorrow. Can I have her call you tomorrow? And if not, there might be some information I can get for you in the meantime. Or can I send you the link? That would be showing them. Never, ever let anyone use the word no. Never say no. Now, the always doesn't mean yes. We can't say yes to a lot of things. Just focus on what you can do, okay? No is a negative trigger. No is a dead end. No is you are a horrible, mean business versus you just don't use the word no and you focus on alternatives. No problem. Never say no problem. Your employees are saying it. I bet you people on this webinar say it. No problem is a big problem for 2 reasons. 1, it's 2 negative words. We shouldn't use any. Number 2, no problem insinuates it's not inconvenient for me. So if I'm walking by, Bill's table and he asks for more water, I say no problem. Well, what I'm basically saying is you're lucky I only have to go over to that stand to get water. If I had to go any further, it'd be a big problem, right? So certainly my pleasure. Absolutely. You're welcome. I'd be happy to. I will tell you that Chick-fil-A and the Ritz-Carlton admit that only by giving their employees one option was a mistake. Certainly. So there's a half a dozen more professional answers than no problem. And you will hear no problem today. I guarantee it. And I also guarantee that it's now a substitute for your welcome. Okay. So make sure your employees understand how unprofessional no problem is. Cold transfer versus a warm transfer. We probably all know what that is. I'm calling and I ask to speak to so-and-so, and all of a sudden, I'm in their voicemail or I get someone else's voicemail. Warm transfers, I tell them who's calling, you get some information, you warm transfer, but you have cold transfers on site, right? I'm looking for something, I have an appointment somewhere and someone points me, again, they go back to pointing versus taking me there. This is probably my second biggest pet peeve, the no problem, oversharing. People, employees, everyone overshares all the time. Well, we just talk too much. And the second reason we tend to overshare as employees is I want to make sure Beth knows that wasn't my fault. Okay, Beth, you didn't get your books on time. When you called me, when you emailed me, I forwarded it to Lindsay and told her you needed 100 books by Tuesday. Beth, I did my job, right? That's oversharing. Beth doesn't need to know about any dysfunctionality going on, that, the cook didn't come in today, this person, having turnover problems. Just take care of it, right? If we need to take someone out back and beat them, just kidding. But the guest member doesn't need to know about our dysfunctionality. Never say, I don't know. Always say, let me find out. Otherwise, you're pointing again. Never show frustration publicly. What I want is a bunch of ducks. A duck is the most graceful, beautiful thing gliding across the water. What no one knows or sees is it's paddling like hell underneath. Okay. And you have to demonstrate this. And I'm guilty of it too. Not being a doc, right? I might have AV problems, and I might be at a live conference, and my clicker isn't working, and I'm looking at the AV, or the monitor's blinking. That's not being a doc. The AV knows, they're there, they see it, they're working on it, and I just continue to present. That's the way I want to be. So have you ever been on a plane mid-flight where the pilot gets on the intercom and says, "Holy cow, we almost crashed"? No. Right? I don't want to know that. So you also have to give specific examples to this when you roll this out to your team, because, if I'm on your team and you say, never show frustration public, I'm like, yeah, I never do that. But, Adam does it. Chris is really bad at it. Give examples of what being a duck is or isn't. So a lot of times you could tell when someone's stressed out, the order isn't right, they're running late, by the way they walk through the dining room. Or, you could just say, uh-oh, that's not having a good day, or that table isn't, Beth's favorite table. Well, we can't show that. We got to remember we're on stage. Never accept fine or okay. You ask a member how everything was and it's not a superlative, you don't let them leave. Because I'll tell you what, if I tell you it's fine, that means let me get the hell out of here and go post and tell a lot of people how it was a ripoff, right? So it's got to be a superlative. I promise you that my 3 businesses get more complaints than anyone on here. One, we drop the ball, okay? Don't love that. But 2, we solicit them. And what I mean by it is, Beth, how was that presentation? How is this? And if it isn't a 10, if it isn't amazing, we push back and try to find out. Where other people are like, did she say anything? No. Whew. Oh, God. I was an hour late. I screwed up the order, whatever that may be. Never make the customer wrong. It doesn't mean the customer's always right. Just make the situation right. This is a huge one. Never forget you're on stage. Remember your Snow White. And so too often, and I probably brought this up the last time, I love having dinner in the bar. But the bar is the worst place because everyone comes back there and they forget they're on stage. They'll come back. Beth may be the bartender, right? And someone will come back to, get something off their chest about their member out there who drive him crazy, or their boss that didn't give them, their Saturday night off and, told them 6 weeks. That's on stage. You got to teach your employees what on stage and off stage is. And if they can be seen by anyone, even though they're not directly communicating, they're still on stage. Never criticize team members, competitors, or make excuses. Own it, even if it's not your fault. Still my favorite always. use the member's name 2 or more times, especially if you don't know the member, right? I mean, obviously if I know you but teach your employees to get the member's name and use it. That's the whole point of being a member. Use your name. Make sure your employees use your name. It is so easy to fire a company, Progressive Insurance, Barrington Country Club, whomever. They're easy to fire. They charge a lot of money, right? And they make a lot of money. But it's hard to fire Beth and Joe and Suzanne. And when you know, so the more people I know at your company that I've gotten to know, that's gotten to know me, and I know they're trying to get, their daughter into, their former college that they went to. And, they just lost their mother to dementia, whatever. You don't fire people. So the more people I know at your brand, it's not a company anymore. It's family. Say something positive. Okay. Now this is important because sometimes people say, you're teaching your employees to be unauthentic. No, I'm not. Right. I mean, listen, they drive nice cars. I want my car complimented if I pull up. I want the valet to say, dude, this is a nice car, even though he's probably parked 5 other cars, just as nice. But it is a nice car, right? But, we all have to dress nice at the country club. Every one of us on this call, if we're going out today, took an extra 15, 20 minutes, drove our significant other crazy and said, honey, does this shirt work with this? Or should I wear this? And we're driving them crazy. Say, that's an awesome jacket. There's something to be said. There's a compliment. Love those glasses. Beth looks like she just got highlights recently. Her hair looks great, right? It's just teach you not to be transactional. There is something positive we can say to everyone we come in contact with. Beat the greet. This used to say beat the customer, but United took it literally. So we changed it to beat the greet, okay? And you should know that no one should say hi to you first, okay? No one should say hi to your employees first. You come within 15 feet of anybody, you smile and nod. And that goes for coworkers. You come within 5 feet of anyone, you say something. Even if I'm walking by, the member to get to another member, you say something. Beat the greet. Smile is part of the uniform. I'll tell you what, we send people home for being out of uniform. I'll go up to someone and say, Suzanne, you don't seem happy. She'll say, I am. I say, you are? She says, yeah. I say, tell your face. Your face has no idea. Right? And a smile can be heard on a phone. One of the best things I've ever seen companies do is they put mirrors by their phones and on their monitors because a smile can be heard. And there's not an interaction. You can't use this. Whether it's face-to-face, excuse me, over the phone or in an email. Is there anything else I can do for you today, Beth? Making her feel like she's it. Even though I got 6 people behind her, 7 emails to respond, I'm 15 minutes late for a meeting. Just stop and say, is there anything else I can do for you today, Beth? Makes her feel like, our world is revolving around her. Okay? I'll give you a few more. My favorite is a lot of things are my favorite. So if you go and tell 100 employees to deliver genuine hospitality, what will you get? 100 personal interpretations. You get someone that thinks a head nod is genuine hospitality. Someone else might think a double hug is a genuine hospitality. So you have to define what genuine hospitality is. To me, it's the 5 E's. Okay. They take less than 5 seconds to do. The first 3 take 1 second to do simultaneously. Eye contact, enthusiastic greet, ear to ear smile. Eye contact, enthusiastic greet, ear to ear smile. Right. So it's Nancy. Boom, just did it. Engage, right? Engage. I'm engaging with Nancy. I'm talking to Nancy about Nancy, her family, her most recent trip, and educate. Every time our members come in contact with any one of our employees, they should walk away and say, there is no one smarter at their job than that person. All right. Eye contact, enthusiastic greet, ear to ear smile, engage and educate. Another word I love is energy, right? And you have to help people bring it. Bring the energy. Mel Robbins says, your energy introduces you long before you ever say a word. If you think about your favorite places you go, there's an energy, an element of energy. People are willing to exchange money for energy. The better the energy, the more they will pay.
Just shut up. Just shut up. You had me at hello.
Okay, so show that clip to your employees and ask them if they have people at hello, because this is the best way to greet someone, right? With the expression, there you are. Nancy, I saw that you were coming in today. I was so excited because I wanted to hear about the trip you just went on, or, you know, whatever it might be, but we actually role play this. And so one of the ways we role play it is we'll bring up two random employees and say, all right, you guys went to high school together 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years, whatever it was. And you haven't seen each other since then. You were best buds. You hung out. You got in trouble. You got called to the principal's office together. Now you finally see each other for the first time in Hilton Head, wherever. Show me, you know, I want you to act it out. And every time they do the same, double take, is that you? They hug each other. And, you know, that is how, to a certain degree, we should be greeting everyone with a there you are. When you get home tonight, unless you're home right now, you want to greet your significant other, your kid. That's the way our dog greets us, with a there you are. So this is the most important part. You want to come up with a short list of nevers and always. I probably gave you, 20. You only want 8 to 10. In the book, there's probably 50, which is fine. There's also an electronic version of nevers and always. That's important too for people who only deal with people over the phone and via email. Be careful with the things we can do. But before I let you break, I got something that will help you roll out these nevers and always. You're going to be so excited. Wait till you see what I have to help you roll out your nevers and always.
Introducing a revolutionary breakthrough in customer service training, the Zapper. No more grueling hours training and reinforcing. Now, even your newest employee will perform expected standards even when the boss isn't around. Simply create your non-negotiable standards list, program it into the discrete device, and snap around the employee's wrist. The Zapper is now set to send a correction alert when your standards are not followed. Think it's impossible to get employees to stop pointing? The Zapper makes it easy.
Of course, it's actually right around here. Ow! Are you okay? Yes, I can definitely show you. Right this way. Thank you. You're very welcome.
The Zapper saves you time, money, and embarrassment. Is the thought of your best customer going unnoticed keeping you up at night? With Zapper, you can rest easy.
Hello?
Department stores are having clearance sales, 40%
Oh my
off
goodness,
of everything.
that sounds great.
Some of them are
really
having coupons on top of that.
Oh, hi,
Do you cringe when no problem is said in your company? Watch how Zapper alerts and corrects this problem phrase.
Completely agree. We're having a good quarter. Can you email me a copy? No problem. Certainly, Mike. It'd be my pleasure.
Now even your most obnoxious oversharers will get it.
How's your day going today?
It's good. I was up front for a while. You guys must be super busy.
No, we're not busy at all. I was just in the back getting my...
Zapper is also water resistant. The DiJulius Group is not responsible for repeat offenders' injuries caused by burn and learn setting. Order yours today and we'll send you not one but 2 Zappers for the price of one. The Zapper!
What do you think? Who wants them? How many employees you have? Yeah. Okay, this is important. I hopefully you guys realize how easy the nevers and always are. They're awesome. It's not like you need a lot of training. There is a nuance to launch them that you could do wrong, but all I want you to do right now, hopefully you've written them down. You'll have access to the slides, but I want you to go into your breakout rooms and say the 2 or 3 that are your favorite and why. Circle them, and these are the things you want. You can take back next week and roll them out. And there's a great way to roll them out too. So you kind of create it like a swear jar. So let's say you roll out your nevers and always, and you can never say no, or you can never say no problem. And you roll out, and you teach everyone, and then Nancy says no problem. Boom, Nance, you got to put $1 in the swear jar. Now the swear jar could be for a charity, or it could be the next round of drinks when you guys go out as a team. But it's a fun way to coach people to get out of bad habits into good habits. So go into your breakouts, spend 5 minutes on nevers and always, whether I shared it with you or things you already have that you need to change the habits of your people.
Everybody said they could have had more time on that one, John.
If you want, we could. If I can't send
that's okay. That's okay.
I was going to say
when you come next week, or next year to our regions, that is something to spend some time on.
Yeah. No, it's great. It really is great. If you do nothing else, and I'm sure you guys all do a lot, and you achieve. If you can tell me, John, you can come into our clubs any day of the week, get any employee, and we would never do this and always do this. That's money. That's like, you're already, so you're being brilliant at the basics. So yeah, that's most people's favorite part. All right, let's hear what your group either liked or you personally liked that is a must that you want to roll out that will, if you get it consistently, never do it or always do it, it will raise your game of experience.
Hey, John, do you want to refocus real quick?
I am so sorry.
There you go.
Okay. What do you got?
Hello.
Bill? Or was that Donald?
Donald's going. Donald, you go. He's in our.
You want me to go?
Sure.
Okay. Well, again, there are so many things that people say and do, that, like you said, if you had these as your basics, it'd be amazing. I was blessed to work for Ritz-Carlton, came from Marriott to Ritz, and every single one of these was on the list of things I had to change. And once you realize that they change, it's the basics of hospitality and service. It's the best. I'll tell a quick story. I went out to dinner last night to a restaurant that I hadn't been to that's right across the street. The first thing they said to me is, sit anywhere. That was their greeting to me. And so I said, no, I'm not sitting. I actually want to get something to go, ordered something to go. It was awful, and I won't go back. So we do none of these things here. So sadly, I won't be utilizing their restaurant anymore. So you can spend a lot of time on, even Siri, when you answer your phone, she says no problem. So our kids learn it, we all learn it.
I agree. Who else? Who has one or two they really want to, hopefully you have 10, but your top 2 on your list?
No problem.
One of the things we talk about was the oversharing, and our need to what exactly oversharing is, and to be able to recognize the cues from the member as to when you're entering that that area of just okay, shut up, you've said enough, and the challenges that come with that, because obviously it depends on the circumstances. You have a member at the bar who wants to interact with the bartender. That's different than a server at the table who's wanting to take an order. So the oversharing, I think, as a group, we found to be challenging.
Yeah, the part I'm definitely driving home is I don't need to tell you anything about anyone on my team, or she was an hour late and now we're backed up, or she's always late, or whatever. I just need to make sure your experience is great. And if that means I have to, do something more, because that might be a reason, but you don't need to know that. you know, you don't need to see behind the curtain that we have our issues. You know, now you lose respect for the company, you lose respect for that coworker or me for the way I'm telling you, but no, very good. And listen, members will be the first people to overshare, and that's okay. That's their prerogative. Or take a conversation south, or politics. I mean, you know, I hate going to my club around the election time. I mean, you know, I kill myself. But that's fine. We just, you know, I think the employees need to try to remain neutral and, you know, not agree or disagree with anyone's strong opinions, I guess. Anyone else?
You know, Jason actually asked a question about, you know, what do we do with younger staff versus maybe a more seasoned staff member, and, you know, with verbiage, and how do you, you know, create kind of a balance with training? And what's interesting with us here is that we are very big on not being robotic. So we talk about that at lineups all the time about, you know, it's important to train staff with steps of service and understanding from start to finish how to greet a table to how to secure payment. But we want our staff members to articulate the way that they normally would, greet members in a style that they normally would. You know, everybody's different on your team, especially in food and beverage. Everybody comes from different backgrounds, has different verbiage. So we want people to be comfortable, and we try to not get too into the weeds on specific verbiage in our training model. And we found that members find staff to be much more personable in that sense. And the retainment of staff is better because they feel they can be themselves. So it's a home run with that strategy.
I like that, Chris. Do you ever have to maybe put some guardrails on it? With, you know, you hire me today and I'm a 21-year-old. I'm like, hey bro. You know, there's a company I worked with that came out with a slogan: "Don't bro me if you don't know me." Like, you know, whatever, chief, what's up? You know, I don't know if there's ever, you know, some guardrails that you're like, well, definitely don't do that. That's not professional, or some more mature members would not find that a positive.
Yeah, an example of that is one of our seasonal employees last year called, you know, he did a fantastic job. He was from Jamaica. The way our culture is with our membership, you can, if you're a seasonal staff member or just any staff member, and you say, you know, how are you, buddy? May I get you something to drink? Well, the buddy was not received well by this specific member, but maybe the 10 members he spoke with before that did appreciate that. But it's just finding that balance, and I had to go over and I had to speak to the member just about, that's kind of just how he communicates, and we'll work on that and make sure he doesn't say it around that member again specifically. But
yeah, that's certainly to me isn't a danger zone. I would find it more endearing than, you know, insulting.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah, good. That's great. And I love the autonomy that we all don't have to be, you know, hi, welcome to ABC. I'm John, you know, whatever, and scripted. All right. So I want to tell you some important things. So about launching these, it is kind of easy because it is kind of common sense. So you create your list. Obviously, anytime you create your list, have people a part of it. So, you know, it's not you coming back from a conference, or, you know, have, you know, your steering committee, your customer experience, you know, steering committee, you know, read that chapter of Nevers and Always. And, you know, what do you think? And the best thing is when they say, yeah, we shouldn't be using no problem. You're like, oh my God, you're the one that says it the most, right? That's a win. Now, the how you can do it wrong is you create a poster or a Credo card or whatever, and you give it out, you put it on the backboard and say, don't do this. And that's all you do. Because like I said, as I gave you examples, never overshare. You need to then give 2 or 3 examples of how different departments can be guilty of it. Because when you just say it on its surface, oh, I never overshare. I never show frustration publicly. I'm never, you know, I'm always Snow White. But then you give me some examples, and obviously you're not calling out anybody. Maybe you're calling out yourself, right? Like, hey, here's one time where I was, you know, not a duck. then people start realizing, oh, shoot, I do that all the time. And I didn't realize, that's, not being Snow White. So you want to give specific examples so that hopefully it reminds them, even how they pick up the phone after a call, didn't go well. And then the next person kind of gets punished for the last caller, right? Whatever that may be. When I walk in, so an old baseball quote is, the best, and it's probably sports in general, the best athletes, during the game, you should not be able to tell the score of the game by their face, right? Same thing. I should not be able to tell if you showed me a video of one of your employees, if it's your peak night, peak season, or your slowest time, slowest season, like by their facial expression, by the way they're handling themselves. They should always be super professional. So just make sure when you roll this out, and then I think the swear jar is a really fun way to bust on each other and again, use it towards a charity, or the next time they go out for drinks or anything like that. All right, I'm going to go to the last section here, which is just my most recent book, The Relationship Economy. I did a TED Talk. If you haven't seen it, it's 9 minutes and 31 seconds. It might be great to show your staff. It's called Meet as Strangers, Leave as Friends. So you can find that. And listen, everyone here knows this, but our employees don't know this. Our kids don't know this. There's nothing we could focus on a daily basis that will have a bigger impact on our personal and professional success than the ability to build an instant rapport with others, whether that's be a total stranger, guest member, coworker, the UPS man, whoever it is, the groundskeeper. So how do you do that? That's not taught in school. It's not taught at home anymore. It's only taught in the best businesses. So, the people you're hiring, you actually can't expect them to have good people skills, at no fault to their own. Their relationship disadvantage. So you have to teach it. So first thing we got to teach is everyone we come in contact with has an invisible sign above their head that says, make me feel important. You do, Beth does, Chris does, everyone does. So let's focus on that. Stephen Covey said, people don't listen with the intent of understanding, they listen with the intent of replying. I'm sure everyone agrees with that. Scientists studied the human brain, and they found that it took the human brain a minimum of 0.6 seconds to formulate a response to something said to it. Then they studied hundreds, thousands of conversations, and they found the average gap between people talking was 0.2 seconds. How can we be responding in 1/3 the time our brain will allow us? Well, we have our response ready minutes ago. We are just waiting for the other person to come up for breath so we can throw up on them about what we want to talk about. So what should we do when we talk to others?
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Or listen. I heard a great acronym to this. When you find yourself talking too much, think of WAIT, W-A-I-T. Why am I talking? I love that. Why am I talking? So the greatest gift we can give anyone is the gift of our attention. Our employees, our members, our kids. And sometimes, listen, when I get home from work and I've had a frazzled day or, whatever, sometimes I can't give that gift. So I will stay in my car another, 5-10 minutes in the garage with the car turned off before I can go in the house and give that gift to my family, right? So, Lindsay, this is the survey I want to ask everyone. I love asking people this. How many people on this call, and I want you to do this to your employees, how many people on this call feel that you are already very good at building an instant rapport with a total stranger? So Lindsay should be popping up a survey. Answer it yes or no. Couple more seconds. All right, Lindsay, you can shut it, share it. And that's typical. More than 80% say they are, okay? And that's typical. And when you do it with your employees, I guarantee it'll be at least that. Okay, so my answer to that is I don't believe you. And the reason why is you have to prove it to me. Just because you bumped into someone at Starbucks this morning, you were at an event last night, and you spoke to someone new or an old acquaintance that you haven't seen in 10 years, you talk to them for 15, 30 minutes, does not mean you built a rapport. Because you might have been talking about yourself for that 15 to 30 minutes. We're all guilty of that. We are all genetically coded to be, self-absorbed with what's going on. It's not an insult, but it's my flight that got canceled. It's my son that got in trouble. It's me. So how do we teach our kids, our workers to focus on the other person? And so this is it. And you might have read it in the book, but every time you have a conversation, you should be trying to learn 2 or more things of the other person's forward. If you learn 2 or more things of anyone's forward, you not only built a relationship, you own the relationship. Because to each and every one of us, our forward is what we geek out about. There's certain things, when I come to Florida and we're, having a cocktail, there's certain things you don't want to ask me about. Because I will tell you, and I'll corner you for the next 45 minutes, right? But, family, are they married? Do they have kids? How old are the kids? What activities are their kids in? Occupation, what do they do? Who do they do it for? How long they've been doing it? Recreation, a lot of people's, and you guys already know most of this stuff, right? But, what do they do with their free time? Hobbies, golf, runners, little league coaches, and dreams. What's on their bucket list? What's their dream vacation? What's their encore career performance that they're looking to transition to? So that's it. And so you have 4 tools and you collect these things. Have you ever bought a new car, so excited because you've never seen it before in that color, that model, until an hour later, that's all you see, right? Now, did everyone else go out and buy that car today? No, those cars have always been there. The orange Hummer has always been there. The difference is your mind is now primed to see what's always been there. That's what 4 tools does. The moment you roll out 4 tools, you start hearing and seeing things that for the first time that were always there.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make?
Go!
The answer is 13.
But
did you see the moonwalking bear?
Go!
It's easy to miss something you're not looking for. So we've created these videos, these training videos the same way, and like Chick-fil-A and other things, we will, and you could do this, right? We will scan the dining room and or have, come up and have the employee tell us exactly what they ordered, the operational side. And then we say, all right, tell us what else you can tell me about the member. And the employee is like, what do you mean? What else? And there's all these, they could be wearing, a Progressive insurance name tag, or, there's so many things that, sometimes we're clueless until you're trained to see that. I love this one. I read about this in a book. We rolled it out and it's so good. So you have, name tags and, maybe an employee since, but also having something they're passionate about. It has to be specific, not life, right? But being a mom, my German Shepherds, running marathons, it kind of reverse, it's reverse. It helps members make a connection with employees. So this is what your day should look like, or your employee's day should look like when they go home. They should be able to have this conversation with anyone at home.
David, Smith.
Nancy Andrews.
Yep. What are you up to these days?
I'm married. I've got 2 great kids. You want to see their pictures?
Yes.
How about you?
Married, no kids yet. Work for Southern Community Bank. Bunch of great customers. Want to see their pictures?
Sure.
This is Alice. She owns a shoe store. This is Kevin. He's saving to buy a house.
I love that, right? She knows her clients for your employees. I don't care if it's their first day or their 10th year anniversary, they should be able to talk about what's going on in the life of the member, because they're focused on their Ford. Every morning at 6 a.m., this pops up on my phone because I want it to be the first thought that goes through my day. Act as if today is the day you'll be remembered for how you treat others. Act as if today is the day you'll be remembered for how you treat others. So when you're all done, you create a simple credo card. This is what we say is our customer service manual. That's it, right? And it has the service vision on it. It has the pillars. It has the descriptors. It has the nevers and always. So that is really powerful. You don't need binders. You don't need, this is, if they know their service vision, they know the day in the life of a member, they know their customer experience to action statement, and they know their nevers and always. This by itself will crush it. We don't have to make it a lot more complicated. The last thing I'll share, and then I'll take questions as long as you guys want to ask them. I know I want to be respectful to your time, is these are my 2 favorite words. Give more. If you want to build long-term sustainable relationships personally for professionally, give more. Give more to your employees. Give more to your employer. Give more, in every relationship. And here's the problem. We live in a very cynical society. And the deal says that, you're going to do A, B, and C. Our agreement says you're going to do A, B, and C, and I'm supposed to do X, Y, and Z, okay? And too often, too many people wait to make sure the other party does what they say. And then when they do their part. What I try to teach myself, my 3 boys, my staff, is you do X, Y, and Z first and throw in W. Even though W wasn't part of the deal and they weren't expected, give them more than they were expecting. Don't wait for them to do what they're supposed to do. Don't keep score. And don't have a good memory. Don't remember 3 years ago that someone didn't do it, okay? Giving more is one of the most selfless things you could do, and it's also will come back to you 10 times. That means if you borrow someone's pickup truck to move furniture, you give them that pickup truck cleaner and with more gas than they gave it to you. So with as much time as you want, and there's some other things in here on page 11, tells you the best way to kind of roll this out and kind of the top 10 things you can do, which is a summary of what we went over here. But ask me anything I can help you with, anything that didn't make sense, any challenges you think you're going to have, love to help you. You can unmute or type it in. Nothing?
John, when we were doing the always and never, sort of my biggest pet peeve was the training people to always understand that they're on stage. Because we have a bunch of little small issues like cell phones and things like that could all be mitigated if people just understood that concept. How do you train for that in a positive way as opposed to a punitive where you're always telling them, don't do this, don't do that? How do you help inspire them to want to have that perspective on their own?
Yeah, I think the first way is to show the unprofessionalism, right? But not by pointing it out, but by you doing it, right? And so we have it in our salons. And so I actually have video, I could send this to you, and it's this exactly. So you're a hairdresser, Nicole, and Lindsay works at the front desk. And you're off. You're off. You're off at 5 o'clock. And so you go up front because Lindsay's your friend, and you want to know what time she gets off, because you're just going to go out. So Lindsay's backed up with 3 people at the front desk. So you go up there. You're waiting for her to get done so you guys can communicate. So you get on your phone or whatever. Now, what you don't know, and again, this is so painful, this happens all the time, or it used to happen, is I'm in line waiting to check in, check out, whatever, at the salon, and I see two employees behind the counter. One's working her ass off, the other one is just texting on the phone. And I like want to scream. But you're pretty sure there's a sign above your head that says, I'm not a receptionist, I'm off, right? And it's things like that. Or we have, we have so many examples of this. Or you might come in on your day off to do your mother, sister's hair, and you dress like it's your day off, right? You're not in dress code. And you have a, lack of a better word, wife beater on, or, whatever that we would never allow you to wear as if you're working. Well, you think everyone in the salon knows that you're off. Well, they don't know. They're just looking at you and saying, man, you got some unprofessional employees here. So we show that just to drive home a point, like, isn't that frustrating? Yeah. Well, actually, she wasn't a receptionist, and they don't know why. But then it's some ahas. They have to see what the members see. And I'm trying to get another drink. I'm trying to get some help here, and you two over there in the corner are texting, right? And that pisses me off. I hope that helps. And if you want, Lindsay, do you know where those videos are? I can send them to you to send to them.
Thank you. Thanks for everything, John. And I also wanted to say that I love that you mentioned Mima Colon in the book. That's one of my favorite places in the whole world. So.
Oh, mine too. Oh my God, I love Mima Colon.
Hey, John, I have a question regarding sort of the current state of the hospitality industry that we're in. We've always focused on creating high standards and training to high standards and maintaining high standards. But the world has changed around us, and those, what we perceived as important standards in our industry are no longer enforceable. An example would be, and it's a silly one, but tattoos. For instance, for many times in the industry, one wouldn't hire somebody with visible tattoos because, it wasn't appropriate. Then we got into saying, okay, you got to have them covered. We'll hire you, but you got to have them covered. Now they're so prevalent, it seems like you can't do that anymore. No different than you mentioned before, cell phone usage, whether it's texting or whether it's yapping on the phone, whatever it is. We are no longer, because of the lack of, staff, we are in this sort of hiring crunch where we're almost forced, whether we want to or not, to have to lower our standards to be able to, accommodate that employee. What's your perception of that?
So I think some of it is, that we have to stop being the old, and I'm guilty of this too, right? The old guy on the porch saying, get off my lawn. I'm fine with tattoos. I actually think tattoos are a great icebreaker. Whenever I see someone with a tattoo, I ask, what does that mean? And, and I think that's totally appropriate. I'm not a fan of cell phones. I don't think that will ever work in that environment. But I do think we're headed for a big problem in the next 6 to 12 months, because everyone is faced with a lack of employees, right? And whether it's, when the stimulus runs out or whatever, but I would prefer to lose the sale and have less staff than lose the reputation by hiring anyone, right? So we got to be careful of just filling warm bodies, positions with warm bodies. And then I'm like, this reputation is nothing like I heard, or it's nothing like I've experienced in the past, and I'm not renewing my membership. I'd rather have less availability, have to turn people away with less great people than, just have a staff close to 100% and it'd be, Russian roulette. And I do believe that we still have to have the standards, but yeah, phones and in unprofessionalism, no. But I think there's certain things that, the tattoos are certainly, I think they're acceptable now. They're unavoidable.
So we do have to be flexible in those, in those evolving cultural, and
it might be piercing, who knows? But I think that's just, back to, I think Chris talked about their own creativity. I'm okay with that, as long as they can be professional, and you know, the professional we need them to be. Lindsay?
Oh, I just had a question come in from Paula. She had chatted to me and said that they have great team members, but how do you help some team members not take everything so personally that it ruins their day? So if they're polite to a member gets upset, it completely ruins their day. So how do we try to understand the member perspective?
And I think I addressed this in the book you guys have. The one of the later chapters, it's called the Department of Customer Defense, and it's all about handling customers that get upset. It's all about not taking it personally, right? You know, I might be beating up the person in front of me, but it's more because of the day I had, and this is just a tipping point. So there's a section in that book that says it's critical to train our employees on how irrational behavior by our customers is rational, and that not to take it personally. They've had bad days, and they, you know, sometimes, you know, they're just like, you know, whatever's happening personally or professionally, they're coming to the one place that they think they can escape, and it might be a minor error. It might be the first time you've ever done it, and they just unload, right? And they almost have to understand that, and they understand it's not them. Handle it professionally, apologize, do whatever you do, but you can't take it personal, but you got to make it personal. So I'm not saying it as well as it's spelled out in that book, in the book, but I believe it's in the chapter, the Department of Customer Defense, which is all about service recovery. Yeah, they can't take it personal. I mean, we all, you know, I've beaten up someone, you know, and I walk away. I'm like, did I really need to do that? Because, you know, I didn't have my gluten-free whatever. So we're all guilty of that, and we just have to teach them it's not them, typically. Any more?
John, I don't have a question.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I know a question, but a comment. I think today what we spent on with the never and always and all the stuff in the book that relates to it. It's a great wellness checkup for everybody. It certainly is for me, because you can get complacent and think we're doing so well, and then you go out and listen, and that with the perspective that our staff has not experienced what excellence looks like, feels like, sounds like, because they don't stay at Ritz-Carlton, they don't fly first class.
Right.
We can train them technically, but that the whole aspect is, and it was one of the notes I took just recently. You may hire a very good person with a great attitude, but they don't have great customer service skills. So it's provided, at least me, and I spoke to our food and beverage director last week, a real opportunity because of the book and these sessions to go back and take a few steps back and go back to basics. And these never and always, they don't cost any money. It just takes time and effort, and they make a tremendous impact. And I would commit that certainly our tipped employees will do a whole lot better if they all sing from the same page. So it's been a good session. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Bill. And I think another, you know, when you guys have your huddles and town hall meetings, is saying, did anyone have an experience over the weekend on their own outside of the club that was great or bad? And it's great to have an employee vent and say, you wouldn't believe what happened to me. And that's great. And then say, all right, you know, Barb, can we be guilty of that here? And then they start thinking, you know, and you're going back to that, you know, the two servers at their restaurant were ignoring them, or they kept on saying no, or they made them feel, and then it's really brings an aha for them to be more sensitive, because, you know, hopefully what's going to happen as a result of this, and you probably already there, is when you go through a presentation like this, it could be a curse, because now you look at every experience differently. You can't just go out and enjoy, but we want to do that to our employees. Like my employees, all they do is bitch to me about their experiences, which is great, because I know their antenna is up and they're seeing that. So hopefully they're more aware of what they're doing. Is Beth on? I don't see her, Linz.
She had to hop off. She sent me a
okay. All right. I just didn't know if she wanted to wrap it up.
No.
All right, everyone, it's such a pleasure. There's, other ways, my email's in there, anything I can do for you. I look forward to coming out there next year and seeing you in person. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.